Hi everybody, this is Wisdom of the Age. I'm Ann Goldberg.
Jane Sloat.
And today our guest is Brit Francis. And Brit is going to talk to us about CBD oil.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
But before we do, I want you to tell the people like what gives you the credentials,
Okay. Yeah,
so that
absolutely.
we know the source.
Absolutely. So I'm a certified health and wellness coach, and so with Dr. Matilsky at the Boca Center for Healthy Living, I'm actually currently doing my master's in clinical nutrition, which is a functional medicine track for nutrition, looking at how foods, plants can help in the diet heal chronic disease, help heal the body, increase balance with the soul, make that mind-body connection, and so that's what we really that curriculum focuses on.
The medicine cabinet is in the kitchen.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. So, and it really rings true, and that is the foundation of the program that I'm currently in. So, I've also been doing CBD medical cannabis with Dr. Matilsky since early this year. So it's been almost a full year that we've been integrating that into our practice with our patients and the general public. So we've had some experience doing it.
So why did she go along with doing that, and you get so interested in it?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So Dr. Matilsky had really brought in medical cannabis, and including CBD, into the practice as a supplement for her patients. So for patients wanting to seek relief from stress, anxiety, from pain in the body, whether it's localized, systemic, really as an option for treatment, because we know that it works. It's natural, it does no harm, and it's been used for centuries to heal the body.
And this is a non-psychoactive.
Correct. So so we can break that down, but CBD, which stands for cannabidiol, by and large is from the hemp plant, which contains less than 0.3% of THC. That's the federal, federally.
So let me just clarify. THC is the stuff that is mind altering. CBD, the cannabidiols, are not mind altering. They do not change your experience of the moment.
They create no psychoactivity.
That's it.
So
they're not psychotropic.
Correct.
Right. And so the CBD oils are either very, very low THC or zero THC.
Correct.
So for people who are in a program, they can take the zero THC CBD oils without having any concerns that they're going to be misstepping in their treatment.
Correct. Or someone who is being tested for work. Or for any other program, school. Absolutely. With the CBD isolates is what we call them. A CBD isolate will contain 0% THC.
Isolated.
And the best advice I can give to anyone buying those products is to always check the lab reports. A company that is credible and transparent in their practices will provide lab reports of the product prior to purchasing them. And it will have on there a section that contains the level of THC or delta 9 THC, and THC is one of over 400 compounds in the plant. However, it will indicate that it is zero, and in that case, they would not test positive.
So for anybody who's concerned, the CBD oil, it's getting high, it's marijuana. It's not.
Correct.
It is a whole other world. So
what is the whole thing, if you could explain, on having the right balance? I keep reading about the balance in the CBD oil.
The different cannabidiols?
What is it?
So I want to make sure that I answer that correctly. So are we referring to like dosing, or are we thinking of...
No, the actual substance.
Okay. How does it create balance in the body?
No.
I'm sorry.
It has to be balanced. There are some I've read that are not balanced, that they don't have, I don't know what. I don't know very much about it.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't know that. I want to make sure I answer that correctly. And I have not personally been asked or seen where it says what is the balance. Now, if we're talking about ratios,
I have.
I'm just trying to think how to.
I've heard that a specific CBD oil has just been created to treat rare strains of epilepsy.
Okay.
So there are so many different cannabidiols, and as the research is continuing, what we're learning is that, well, this cannabidiol, that might affect neurological activity in the brain.
I gotcha. Yeah, and I wish I wish that there's so many great resources available online that you can find charts that will give you the different compounds, and it will tell you, this, for example, this cannabinoid will produce these effects. Is that kind of what we're talking about? Okay,
yes.
So yeah, in that case, so for example, CBD, THC are the two cannabinoids that are most researced. Mm-hmm. So we have to consider that.
And most well known.
And most well known, exactly. But there are others. So maybe to answer your question, there are like CBN is another cannabinoid, and that has great potential to help with sleep. So you can think of CB nighttime, but it's not found very often. So in that regard,
different kinds.
They're different. There are over 400 compounds in the plant. So when we look at CBD, we want to consider, well, is there a terpene profile? Terpenes are another component.
Talk a little bit about that.
So terpenes are actually found in nature. For example, lemons.
As in terpene?
Terpene, yeah, terpenes. So in lemons, when we smell a lemon, well, that's lemanoid, and we know that that's a terpene that gives a lemon its distinct smell. And so cannabis is very similar. There are naturally occurring terpenes in different types of cannabis, CBD included, where you can have something that has a specific terpene profile to help calm the body, or to help energize the body, or to help decrease pain.
Like essential oils.
They're very similar to essential oils, and in fact, like pepper, like black pepper, has a terpene profile on its own that makes it unique, that helps decrease inflammation, which again is found in many cannabis products. So it's interesting when we talk about cannabis, we make it sound like that it's just one plant,
right.
And it's the same across the board. It's very, very different. It's a very, very unique plant. It's very interesting.
So do you sell different kinds?
Well, why does the doctor prescribe them? What?
Right.
Why would she?
Right.
Why?
Right.
Why is it in the medical office?
Right. So why CBD? And again, it's just going back to nature and going back to the roots of medicine, of letting food or plants be the medicine that we use. And again, cannabis has been used for thousands of years. I mean, you can find references to it in many, many old texts, and referring to it being used as textiles, as medicine, as ointments. And so for us as a practice, being so rooted in functional medicine, we want to make sure that we're incorporating those types of treatments for patients that don't have the side effects of prescription medication, that don't require a patient to take another pill, to feel out of body, to be almost catatonic if they take a pain medication. So the cannabis allows us to create balance in the body naturally.
So why is what you have here better than others?
So that's a great question. Going back, not all CBD is created equally, and what we want to make sure that we provide in our office to our patients are products that are transparent. We have the lab reports. The lab reports are accessible to the patient. They are clean. They are CO2 extracted, which is the preferred extraction method.
Isn't there petroleum types of
distillates?
There's
butane, hexane, and we want to make sure that that's not something that you want to ingest. So CO2 extracted, all of our products. We also we have isolates, and we have something that's called a full spectrum, which contains a small amount of THC. And for a lot of patients, they find that type of cannabis product resonates better with them than the isolates. So in terms of just trying to answer your question of how does Dr. Matilsky recommend the product, it's a conversation that we have individually with each patient. Do you have a preference? Are you being drug tested? If so, we need to stay away from these products. Are you, how do you feel about oils? Do you feel like that's something, if you have a patient who has really bad arthritis, it's tough for them to draw those syringes out. Maybe capsule's more preferable for that patient, or maybe we're dealing with someone who doesn't like the taste of the oil. It's earthy, it's piney.
Earthy is one way of putting it.
I enjoy it, but for some people they don't find that palatable. So we want to make sure.
I didn't love it.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we have another option. So we also sell gummies. So really, the conversation is with the patient. It's not just take this, goodbye. That's traditional.
There's no one size fits all.
No, definitely,
So how
definitely
much
not.
is
So,
it?
so price range. Can I go back real fast? So to help answer your question about why these products. It's quality. We're providing a quality product to our patients. We will not bring anything into the office that is not something that we would want to take ourselves. Right?
Organic
And that's actually a really good question. The term organic. To say something is USDA organic,
right.
We can actually not use that term because cannabis is still considered a Schedule I drug, a narcotic, right? So the term USDA organic is owned by the federal government. So we cannot say something is USDA organic if it is illegal to sell. So, however, most companies that are reputable, that do produce a good product, use standards almost identical to the USDA standards of growing organic hemp.
USDA organic is a designation that costs a lot of money also.
Right.
And there are growers out there of food and other products who grow to organic standards.
Correct.
But they want to keep their pricing lower so they don't go for the designation.
Yeah, so that's why we chose the products that we did. And so in terms of range of price, one thing I always recommend patients to do is, or to never do, is do not buy something because of the cost. If it's cheap, you're most likely getting a cheap product.
Right.
You may not be getting an actual. I think I've even read instances where people got olive oil or got something similar.
Like at a vape store.
Could be off the internet. It could be anywhere. And I don't know of any instances in Boca where we've had that issue, but you get what you pay for. So I make sure that I caution patients, please don't skip out on the price for the quality. We want to make sure that we get you a quality product. So that being said, we have products that range from $10 to $180. And again, with that, I understand that insurance doesn't cover this these products. So I try to make sure that when I sit with patients, I'm finding a titration schedule that is going to give them the lowest, most effective dose, because I don't want this to be a financial burden. I don't want money to be the reason they don't experience cannabis. So with any medication, you should find the lowest effective dose. But particularly when you're paying out of pocket for this, we want to make sure that it is affordable. So, and again, that's why we offer so many different products. Like the gummies are $50, but I have oils that are about $130. So if a patient is maybe new, needing a low dose, wants to try it, they can get a product that's maybe more affordable to them. So we definitely aim to help patients that way.
So, one of my understandings about CBD products are that one of the best things they do is reduce inflammation.
Correct.
Systemic inflammation. So when there's metabolic disease, when there's fatty deposits in the core of the body, these are the things that are so dangerous to our health. Has it been shown that CBD oil reduces that systemic inflammation?
So again, that's a great question. We have to go back to it being considered a Schedule I drug on the federal level, and so with that, there are no research studies that are allowed to be done on these products. It doesn't mean that there isn't research done on them. They're just not federally funded research. So that's part of the reason why the FDA can't get behind these products and say, oh, this is FDA approved. There are cannabis FDA prescription medications that are available. They're not medical cannabis, they're CBD products. So with
What's the difference for people to understand medical cannabis versus CBD?
Yeah, so medical, so they're both derived from the cannabis family. The CBD is going to be farmed from the hemp plant, which contains under 0.3% THC, and marijuana, which medical cannabis is extracted from contains over 0.3% THC, so it's considered a medical grade.
Comes from a different plant to begin with.
Right. So it's again cannabis family, but there are multiple plants and you know within that. So yes, they are different plants, but they're from the same family. So I always use apples as an example, and that may not be totally totally correct, but it's a way for people to easily conceptualize the idea of you have an apple family. But how many varieties of apples are there? You don't just go to the store and say, I would like an apple. They'll look at you and say, okay, well, do you want a green apple? Do you want a sour apple? Or what are you using to make it? Are you using
Fuji, delicious.
Yeah. So Washington red apples. So really, in that regard, I like to use cannabis, you know, as a or apples as an analogy for cannabis, where when you look at that, you have the cannabis family, but so many varieties of the plants, and they all have the little unique features about them. So I think that's pretty fair. But medical cannabis is going to contain higher levels of THC.
Well, it's from a different plant altogether. So for those people who are thinking, oh, CBD oil, you know, I don't want to touch it's marijuana.
Right.
It's not.
Right. Correct. It's not marijuana.
From the same
Correct.
plant.
It is from the hemp plant.
So what's the brand name?
The brand name that our office carries. So we actually carry 3 different companies. We carry Green Roads, which is Green Roads. Yep. So Green Roads, and they exclusively sell isolates, and they have a variety of products.
So an isolate is a strain of particular cannabinoids?
It will be the only cannabinoid will be CBD, cannabidiol. That's the only cannabinoid present in their products.
Okay.
I also sell Provita, which is a full spectrum, and that contains CBD and THC. But the ratios are such that there would be no psychoactivity.
Right. It's a very small amount of THC. But I understand that the CBD operates better with a little bit of THC sort of behind
so
it.
that's what we call the entourage effect.
Yes.
Where those cannabinoids can work synergistically together to heal the body. And again, I think it goes back to patient individualization, where we have to consider, is this person being drug tested? If they are, they would have to intake a lot of full spectrum CBD oil to test positive. And again, each governing body testing may have different levels, so we'd have to consider that. However, that patient may not feel comfortable even taking any. They may just say, look, I don't want to worry about it. So for me to say, okay, that's all I have, I'm doing our patients a disservice. So I make sure that we have the isolate products as well.
Right.
So
I understand.
Yeah.
And then you said there was a third company?
So there's a third company, Swiss Relief, and they have a great capsule line. So we carry capsules as well for some patients.
Are they the same strength?
Yes and no. You can. So with the capsules are 25 milligrams, but the oils, what's great about those is that they're adjustable. So you can only take in 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, up to 58 milligrams is my strongest of CBD. So again, that depends on the patient, their symptoms, what we feel is going to work for them, the most lowest effective dose.
So is this used for cancer treatment?
So I think it kind of goes back to your question that you had about the research trials, and is there anything that's showing, is there any evidence-based trials showing the efficacy of cannabis? And so, like I mentioned, because it's still a Schedule I drug, there's a lot of policy that does not allow for there to be research trials or clinical research trials done on these. However, there is research, and it is available. PubMed.com, you can find hundreds of different.
And NIH is doing lots of research.
Yeah, NIH is another. Absolutely.
CBD and
absolutely,
marijuana.
it does exist. So yes, to answer your question, yes, there is research that indicates this does help with inflammation, and then likewise with cancer. I have to go back and review that literature, but I know that in terms of symptoms, the cannabis has been shown to decrease the symptoms that are associated with chemotherapy. So which most cancer patients are.
Yeah,
whom would you-
but that's just symptomatic.
Right.
We're
Right.
not talking about
Right.
healing.
Right. So there has not been, and again, this is going back to the legality of the plant. There's no cure for cancer. So in terms of one product that completely cures it, prevents it, it's a multifaceted approach to treating cancer. So we can't say exclusively cannabis cures cancer. There are anecdotal.
Yeah, there's a lot of anecdotal.
There's a lot of anecdotal. Let me just preface that. There's a lot of anecdotal. Rick Simpson is one that comes to mind where for him, he was able to treat his melanoma with a special blend of cannabis. Now, again, this is in another state. He was not using CBD. He was using cannabis, not medicinal cannabis, but cannabis that he would grow, purchase to help reverse his melanoma. But again, those are anecdotal, and we just don't have the research trials saying. And again, I don't know what his other treatments were. I think it's one part of a treatment plan.
So for whom, does this office, who walks in here and why do you prescribe it? Why would you tell somebody, what symptoms are they presenting?
Right.
That you're going to say, this is what would help.
Top two that come to mind: pain, chronic pain, and anxiety, stress. Or I'd say those are my top two symptoms that people experience where we recommend CBD oil. In terms of who we see, I've seen everyone from 18 to 90 in terms of patient demographic of who has used this product and who's benefited from this product. And again, the patient has to be open to that type of therapy. Some patients are not ready to accept that, and so we have to consider that. For some patients, they do want the prescription. They want to have that, and that's their choice as a patient. But for a lot of patients, and we have people come in because we can sell this over the counter who are not patients and who saw our sign on the door and said, hey, I really wanted to try CBD. I have questions. I don't want to go to the internet. I feel confused. Can you help us? And we do. And it really brings relief to those patients. But I'd say chronic pain, anxiety, stress, and then, the symptoms with that, lack of sleep.
And couldn't the leap be made because it helps with chronic pain, that it is reducing inflammation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that what happens?
So I think that in terms of the pathways that it works into the body, we are all born with our endocannabinoid system. That's really, so when we say, how does this work? Why does this work? The answer is your endocannabinoid system, or ECS. And what that is a system in your body. There you have receptors located from your brain to your feet, essentially, where those cannabinoids, depending on which one you ingest, target those receptors, bind to those receptors, and allow your body to maintain balance or to achieve balance. It also helps regulate other systems. So perhaps it is anxiety, and you're not producing that serotonin. Cannabis can help promote serotonin in the body to be made naturally. So that does exist. So absolutely.
Understand that cannabis operates in the endocannabinoid system that exists in every human.
Yes, but when
and
we're born,
helps to activate that system to better address stress and pain.
Correct. And many other things. Your immune system, it can help stimulate bone growth. I mean, there's a very, very, very long comprehensive list that you can find online. greenroadsworld.com. They have great resources. Provita.com. They will provide that information. But the benefits are just, it's amazing to read them. And actually, CBD has the most benefits for the body, not THC. It's actually CBD, and they're finding now that really that's the key to treatment is a balance of CBD to THC, not just THC exclusively.
So a small amount of THC.
Correct. Absolutely. But when they work together, that's the entourage effect, and that's really what we want to achieve. But again, patients do experience relief. I know I do. I'm a patient.
What do you
with CBD isolates? So they work really well for me.
What?
For anxiety and for stress. and to help me sleep, and it helps calm my brain.
Yes.
And it helps put me, CBD helps with sleep patterns, and it helps you produce more melatonin and dopamine, serotonin. So you're just balanced. I think that's the best word for it that I can find. So
It really helps it works within the body's own systems,
Correct.
really enhancing
Right.
the body's own
Right.
systems.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
what's so incredible about it. Thank you, Brit.
yeah,
so
absolutely.
much.
Hope I answered all your questions.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Brit Francis works for Dr. Myrna Batilski at the Boca Center for Healthy Living. And again, that's 2900 North Military Trail. And the telephone number here, you can talk
Yep.
to Brit
Oh, yep.
anytime, 561-994-2007. 561-994-2007. And you can ask Brit questions about CBD oil, and she would be happy to help you find the right product for what ails you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was so interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. This
Thank
is
you.